there. Before we dive into my story, I want to take a moment to talk about something many of us experience but often struggle to put into words: social anxiety. If you're here listening to this, there's a good chance you've felt it too. Maybe it's that knot in your stomach when meeting someone new, fear of saying something wrong, or simply the urge to avoid situations that feel too overwhelming. Whatever form it takes for you, just know you're not alone. Social anxiety can feel like an invisible barrier holding you back. It's that little voice in your head, second guessing every decision, convincing you that it's safer to stay quiet or stay at home or run away. And while it might protect us from the fear of being judged and also keep us from doing what we want to do, it really just takes away from living my life fully and living your life fully. For me, social anxiety has been a quiet, constant presence in my life. If you met me, you might not even notice it. Growing up, I was always happy to approach people and make friends. I loved being around others and building connections. But as much as I wanted to be out there, I often found myself retreating to the safety of my home. My home was my safe place, a world where I didn't have to worry about judgment or pressure. Friends couldn't judge me and I could just do my own thing. But anyway, at first it didn't seem like a big deal. I was just comfortable, but the truth is that comfort came at a cost, and I've recently realized that by staying in my bubble, I missed out on the opportunities to grow, to connect, and to really experience life. I spent hours playing video games, sometimes alone, sometimes always online, because it was easier to lose myself in those worlds than to face the challenges of the real one. If I had a problem, just leave. It wasn't something that mattered. I have so many friends that I've met online that just disappeared from my life because went our separate ways and it wasn't an issue. But back to the story. Over time, I realized something important. While staying in my safe place felt good in the moment, it wasn't helping me become the person I wanted to be. It wasn't building the relationships I craved, and it wasn't creating the life that I wanted for myself. The fear of judgment and failure was holding me back, and I didn't want to let it control me anymore. So I started taking small steps, pushed myself to say yes to new opportunities, put myself out there, and to face those fears head on. And you know what? Every time I did, I discovered something incredible. The world isn't as scary as we think. We tend to make it more scary than it needs to be. And oftentimes people are kinder than we give them credit for. And those little moments of bravery add up to big changes over time. And yes, sometimes people will be negative, and you'll have bad experiences, but in the end, the positives will generally outweigh the negative, and if you just keep going, you're going to feel better about yourself. And I really want to help all you guys with this journey, same as I've been on this journey. So with that, I've decided to start this podcast, and that's why I'm now sharing my story and sharing this with you guys. And I've created this community where people like us who know what it's like to struggle with social anxiety can come together, share experiences, and support one another. It's a space where we can practice being brave even in small ways and remind each other that we're stronger than we think. Together, I want to rewrite the story of social anxiety in everybody and show the world that despite social anxiety and what we think we may have, it is not going to have power over us. We're going to conquer it head on, and we're going to show the world that step by step we can build the confidence to do things that we want to do without the fear of judgment holding us back. We can be strong, not in spite of our anxiety, but because we've faced it together. And on that note, I would love to hear stories from all of you guys about your experiences with this. If you want to share a story with me and talk about it, I would love to hear it. I will be sharing more about my journey with this in later podcasts. Things like I have recently started going to the gym about 6 weeks ago, and it's made a big difference in my life. It's a community sort of aspect, and I feel much better about myself. I went out with a group of friends from online recently and spent the weekend with them. We had a lot of fun, and I will be sharing that story as well. Have some pictures if I get permission from them to share them in this. But yeah, just be strong, be brave, and remember that despite what you might think, you're not alone. I would be willing to bet that that person you're thinking about talking to, or that person that you're thinking is not interested, may not be interested, but is probably sitting there thinking about what would happen when you approach them and how they would react to it, and probably anxious about it as well. You're not alone. No one's ever alone. Despite what you might think, most people would struggle with stuff like this. So yeah, if you want to talk, we're here, and I look forward to hearing all your stories.